Hello everyone. As you're coming in, let me know in the chat where you're coming in from and a business goal you're trying to achieve at the moment that fear is stopping you. So I'm in the UK today and there's more people joining us. So as you all jump in, let me know where you're joining from. Hello. From Portugal. What's the weather like in Portugal? Cold pitching my goals. Great, yeah. I'm in the UK. It's also grey here. It's meant to be spring, but we're still in grey. I'm originally from Australia, so it's hard being in the UK. Oh, North Carolina. What's the weather like for you, Sarah? I'm assuming it's going to be hot.
Yeah, I don't want to brag, but it's really nice.
You're allowed to brag. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm in the mountains, so it's a little chilly, but just kind of
Oh,
perfect.
oh, beautiful. Oregon in the US,
Oregon.
Katie. Nice. What's it like? What's the weather like for you, Katie? Cold and rainy like the UK. Yep, cool. We're very grey themed today. Okay, so we'll just wait a couple more minutes and we'll get started. Um, and Sonia, I'm used to nice weather in Portugal. It feels like the UK for the past few weeks. I know, I know. But it's spring. There's a full moon on Friday, so hopefully change is coming to warmer weather. Okay, so those of you who are just joining in, let us know where you're joining in from. We're just talking about the weather at the moment and everyone's kind of grey. Oh, Emma, I like your goal. Your goal is to build on your own personal branding. Love that. So tell me, what does that mean to you, Emma? You're joining from London. Oh, Brazil. Is Brazil hot, Carolyn? Carolina? Hello, Georgie. How are you?
Oh, there we go. I was about to unmute myself and realized I'm already off mute. I'm good. I'm very excited for this session. How are you doing today?
Good, good. We're just talking about the weather, and I'm in the UK and it's grey. So a lot of us are in the grey weather. Yep.
Not to show off, I'm in Copacabana in Brazil at the moment, and the weather is glorious.
You're showing off. That's okay. Sarah was showing off as well before. That's absolutely fine. Um, So if everyone would just like to put in the chat, what is a goal you're working towards and how is fear stopping you? And then we'll get started in just a couple of minutes. Oh, Magdalena, you're in Spain. I love Spain. Oh, it's rainy there. So we're all on the same wavelength of the grey and the rain. So you want to stand out from the saturated market, Emma. Interesting. What market are you in? Ah, social content specialist. Nice. So I find a lot when we're wanting to stand out in a market, it's because we can struggle with where we fit in the market because we're unsure of our own, unique selling proposition. How do we stand out? So with this for you, Emma, it's a lot about figuring out like what makes you unique, what makes you you. And when I tried to start figuring this out, I did a personalities test, 16personalities.com. It's free. That it helps you realize where you're best situated within your business and how you best interact with clients as well. So do that, and that might give you some clarity as well. So you're streamlining your business and maybe pivoting slightly, Georgie. That's exciting. I love a good pivot. I love a good pivot. I've pivoted many times. Um, so brand new to copywriting, goal is to get your first client. Yay! Getting past the fear and start applying. Yep. Very, very normal. We've all been there. And yes, Sarah, we spoke before. So for you, it's about starting. It's taking the jump from 9 to 5 to entrepreneur is such a big step. But it's the most transformational step you'll ever make in your life. So I'll help you all with how to overcome this and know that, you've got this, you're empowered, you can do this. So what I'm going to do, so the way this is going to work, it's 45 minutes. I'm happy to stay on a bit longer to answer any questions. I'd love this to be interactive as well. So if you have any questions along the way, please put them in the chat. And I'm going to go through first my story and how I came to find these tools that I'm going to teach you to help whenever it arises, whenever fear comes up. Because the thing is, it's going to. Doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing. It actually means you're doing the right thing. So I'm going to show you a presentation now. And as I said, drop any questions you've got in the chat and we'll go from there. So bear with me just a minute as I bring this up. Also, I drink a lot of water, so I'll be drinking a lot of water throughout this. Okay. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Caitlin Cook. Hello. So I've actually been a coach and in the business and finance world for 18 years. And I helped people start and grow their own businesses for many years before I started my own. And it was so interesting because I'd give people a strategy on how to achieve their goals, whether it was financial or business. And it was a very clear strategy. Take these steps, achieve this. And then 80% of people never did it. And I was so confused. And I was like, why doesn't everyone succeed? Here's the roadmap to success. Why aren't you succeeding? And then I started my own business. And 6 years in now, and I've realized there are so many steps within the strategy, within the action steps to take. There's the fear. There's the potential imposter syndrome. There's the, am I good enough? Should I do this? Should I do something else? Oh, there's all of that. And I want you to know it's normal, it's part of the process. So if you haven't already, please mute yourselves as well. So this is a diagram of literally what happens. This changed my entire life. So what actually happens when I was giving people strategies on how to build their business before starting my own, I thought you go from comfort to growth. I didn't realize there's fear in learning as well. So in the second year of my business, I was sick and tired of not making enough money. So I really lent into the fear because I really just wanted to grow. And this diagram changed my life because every time I felt fear in my body, fear in my thoughts, it was my way to rewire that and go, I'm doing the right thing. I can do this. I've got this. So I'm going to tell you a bit about my story and how it started. So in 2019, I started my own business. And I'm Australian, my partner's English. We didn't have a visa to each other's countries, so we traveled Southeast Asia so we could be together. So I made 12K my first year, and I was like, you know what, that's okay. Like, it bought us some bintangs on the Bali beach, and we could have some coconuts. Like, it wasn't the big, best, most grandest lifestyle, but it was enough. And then a year after I started, in January of 2020, I found out I was 4 months pregnant. I was told I'd never be able to have children in my life, so that was a very big surprise. So I actually ended up having a panic attack, my first and only panic attack. And so I was filled with self-doubt, uncertainty, so much fear. And it's the uncertainty that was the catalyst to help me really realize the growth potential. When there's uncertainty, anything can happen. And that's the magic. So I was really questioning if I was cut out for this. I was so scared. And so I went from working, 8 to 10 hours in my first year of business a day and earning 12K to going, I'm now getting more and more pregnant. I have to give birth in the middle of the year. I don't have that amount of time. What am I going to do? So I was like, right, if I just lent into the fear, what would change? Like, surely I'd make more than 12 grand. So I did that, and I ended up only working about 2 hours every day for 2020. And then I ended up making $180,000 at the end of that year. So I 15 times my revenue by working 75% less and doing the things that scared me and being able to apply the tools I'll teach you on how to be in the fear of the moment and take action anyway. So I'm leaning into the fear now instead of being scared of it. Believe me, I tried many times to go around it. It doesn't work. So I changed and rewired fear. Instead of it means I can't, it means I can and I am. So this is my 6th year in business, and I've made just about $1 million in revenue without social media and without a website. Why? Because I was so scared to show up on social media. I was so scared to do my website never felt perfect enough. I didn't feel good enough. So this today of what I'm doing, this is actually me leaning into the fear of going, I get to spend an hour with new people and I get to teach on something. So thank you for being a part of how I'm leaning into fear today. So we'll get some more water. So where you are now is here. What you want is here. In between where you are and what you want is a circle of change. The circle of change looks like this. Every time you desire something more, every time you want to start a business, you want to take the leap from 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship, every time you want to grow your income, you want to grow your brand, you want to grow up how you show, you want to stand out in a saturated market, this is what's going to occur. Because our brains are wired to keep us safe. And it knows how to keep us safe when we're in a familiar, repeatable cycle of life, which is called our comfort zone. So let me know in the comments if you resonate with this. I love patterns, and I find anytime I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do this new thing. I'm so excited. I'm going to make this amount of money and it's awesome. And yep, got this. I'm empowered. I'm jumping up and down. And then like 2 days later, I just go, wait, why did I even think I could do that? I can't do that. Who am I to do that? No one's going to buy it. No one's going to want it. Nah, can't do it. And I talk myself out of it. It's because I slowly started moving into the fear zone. And what happens is you have to move through the fear zone so you can get to the learning zone and then the growth zone. If you're like, I want to grow my revenue, and then in 2 days' time or within a week, something changes and you go, I can't do this. Oh my God, this feels different. This doesn't feel right. And you retreat back to your comfort zone. You're teaching your brain that when you feel fear and discomfort, it should go back to comfort. But there's an alternative. When you feel the fear, apply the tools I'm going to show you, and then you keep expanding your comfort zone, which means your life expands, your revenue expands, your fulfillment, your joy expands, because you're capable of doing more. So the 3 phases we're going to go through is recognizing and breaking the cycle, because that's all it is. It's a cycle and it's a pattern. We're going to build resilience and take action, and then achieve emotional regulation and expansion, which is the growth zone. So these are the 3 phases to help you move through any time we feel the fear. So if you can put in the comments now, what does fear actually feel like to you in your body? What are the thoughts you're thinking? What is it going on in your body? I know for me, when I feel fear, I feel it in my chest. Like it's like there's a weight there. I'm like, oh my God. And I always go into a what if spiral. Always go into a what if spiral. Future events aren't real. Interesting. So tell me more about that, Katie. Yep, overthinking. Feel it in your stomach and your veins. Doesn't sound weird. Everyone's different with it. Fear feels like being stuck inside a washing machine. I like that. Yes, I call it chaos. So that would definitely be chaos. So for me, I actually feel like I'm going to throw up. I get like really like, oh my God, I'm going to throw up. Oh my God, I can't do this. Ugh. And I used to be like, if I'm going to throw up, I'm just not going to do this. This means I shouldn't do this. But now I go, interesting. I feel like I'm going to throw up. What's the fear behind this? Paralyzing. Yep. Very true. So we also procrastinate. So when we're on, so we might doom scroll on social media and not actually do what we're meant to be doing. And then 5 hours later, we're like, I'm still on social media. I had a week about 3 weeks ago where I was really into social media, and I'm not normally on there that much. And for a week, I would spend 3 to 4 hours every day just doom scrolling. And it wasn't until like the sixth day I did it, I was like, what's actually going on for me? I'm like, oh, I'm scared. Okay, what am I scared about? And it's that awareness. When you know this is what's happening, when you know that how it feels in your own body, what's going on in your own head, that's when you can change it because you're aware of your patterns. So take a screenshot of this if you can. So next time you're in procrastination, next time you're overthinking, when you're like, I have to wait for the right time, whenever it feels chaos in your body and mind, know that that's the fear. And the truth is, fear actually thrives on inaction. So the longer we sit in it and not move, the longer it festers and builds up. And then the fear becomes the guilt of feeling fear, becomes the sadness of feeling fear and guilt. It becomes the frustration, it becomes all of these other emotions on top, when really it's just one thing that's causing a fearful response. So what happens when we're in our comfort zone? So the 4 quadrants I showed you before. When I want to bring awareness to what's actually going on. So when you're in your comfort zone, you're regulated, meaning your emotions are regular for you. Everyone has a different regulated state. It's familiar. So you know what's going on. You know the outcome, you know how you're going to feel, you know what you're going to think. Same cycle, same pattern, same outcome. For me, when I was 26 and I was a number 2 business specialist in Australia, I sat there and one day just this fear came up through me and I was like, oh my God, I've peaked at 26. I have absolutely peaked. I am at the height of my career and I'm having a quarter life crisis, being miserable in a life I've created that I thought I'd be happy with, because I realized that today was the same as yesterday and yesterday, and this year was the same as last year. And I asked myself, if I expand out to next year, what will have changed? And I thought, nothing. Next year will be the same as this year, which was the same as last year. I'm like, what is my life? And in that very small moment in time, my desire to change outweighed my desire to stay the same. I was still scared. I was scared as hell. But I was like, something has to change because I can't peak at 26. So that's when I took a career break and I moved to the other side of the world. And I started doing things that scared the crap out of me because I realized I'd lived a very comfortable life, which didn't create the life that I wanted because it was on the other side of fear where the life that you want is. So what happens is when you have a moment like I did, or something smaller or bigger, however it may be for you, you're then immediately going to feel the fear. So when I booked that ticket to the UK, I immediately was like, oh no, maybe I'll just go next year. Maybe I shouldn't do it. I made excuses because I was scared. I wasn't regulated, so my emotions were heightened up here and I was freaking out. My brain's like, what if you do this? What if you do that? And I went into fight, flight, or freeze mode. I didn't know what to expect because I'd never done it before. I felt so much anger and frustration, and that's what happens in the fear zone. You're trying to control something because you feel out of control. And the thing is, you can't control an unknown circumstance, but you can control how you react in that moment. So you'll have a spiral of what if. And the thing is, the what if, unless your brain has somewhere to go, it's going to keep spiraling. So what if it doesn't work? Write it out. And then on the other end of the page, write, what if it does? Because both are equal. It's up to you how you decide to move forward. So what if it doesn't work? And what if it does? That will stop that spiral because you've actually written down tangibly what you'll do. You're also going to feel fear, going to feel different in the fear, and you'll feel stress and discomfort, like something is off. So let me know in the comments if this is resonating and if this, what fearful thing you've done lately that's helped you, where you've gone, I want to grow, but I don't know how to do it, and then you've actually taken a step and it's helped. So what actually happens in our brain when we're feeling stress is we've got this beautiful thing called the amygdala. That's where we actually hold, that's our stress response. So as soon as we do something new, we step outside into the unknown, our amygdala fires off, which is responsible for the fight, flight, or freeze. That is when we cannot create, we cannot, no matter how many times you want to go, I'm calm, I'm calm, I'm calm, even though you're having a panic attack, you cannot calm yourself because your brain is firing off stress responses. Yes, the comfort zone definitely feels safe to the brain. So the thing with the amygdala, it's responsible for the cortisol levels, and the cortisol level is our stress. When our stress is heightened, we don't actually have the ability to think. We just have the ability to fight, flee, or fight or flee, one of those ones. But what happens is when you're wanting to grow your business, make more money, start a business, you need to be creative. And unless we bring down the amygdala, we don't have the capacity to be creative because we're overwhelmed with our stress response. So let me know who has actually heard of EFT. So EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. It's called tapping. So Sonia says, I tend to freeze when dealing with fear and unexpected situations, but I did force myself to launch my website. Well done! That's amazing. Well done. And it's that thing. You're teaching your body to feel the fear and do it anyway. That's incredible, Sonia. Celebrate yourself for that. So with EFT, I know for me, I was like, oh, Nadine, your therapist has been wanting to teach you on this. Perfect. It does work. It's brilliant. For me, I used to be very masculine, and whenever I felt fear, I was like, I'm going to push it down. I'm just going to get through this. If I just work double as hard, I'm going to make it work. It doesn't work because then the fear you push down is going to pop back up even louder. And that's when I had a panic attack. So I was like, right, I have to deal with my emotions now. So what EFT is, it's yours tapping on certain parts of your body. So like these areas on your body. And it's actually signaling directly to your amygdala that you're safe because your amygdala doesn't actually hear language, but it can hear this. It can understand that by tapping these parts of your body, you can start to calm down. Yes, Katie. We're all masculine and feminine at different things. I tried to be masculine with my emotions and it just doesn't work. So EFT will literally be like, even though I'm feeling scared, even though I have no idea if this is going to work, and this is up to you if you feel comfortable saying this, but you can say, I deeply and completely love myself, or I'm learning to move even though I'm feeling the fear. So the thing is, and it only takes 90 seconds for us to feel an emotion. That is it, 90 seconds. But when we're feeling the fear, and then we're adding on the guilt of feeling the fear, we're adding on the sadness of feeling the fear, we're adding on the frustration of feeling the sadness, feeling the guilt, feeling the fear, then we expand on this one moment in time. But next time the fear arises, if you can actually look at it and go, right, my amygdala is firing. Why? Because I'm scared, because I'm doing something new. Okay, I'm going to do some EFT tapping now. So just go through these parts in your body and go, even though I'm feeling scared, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And it completely starts to bring down the stress response. So your cortisol starts to reduce, and then you can switch to the prefrontal cortex. That's your creative center. That's where you want to create from. That's your business ideas. That's the opportunities. That's the collaboration. But when you're too stressed in fear, you cannot create. So whenever the next time you feel the fear, go to yourself, right, my goal is to become more relaxed, to be regulated, because that's you actually training and teaching your body that you can be safe in the feeling of fear. Because you can be. It's the story you add on top of it that makes you feel unsafe. It's okay to feel the fear. That means you're growing. That means there's energy moving. That means you get to do something and show up differently than you ever have. So if you don't want to do AFT tapping, or sorry, if you do Brad Yates on YouTube, I follow him. He's amazing. He's got so many different videos. I'd suggest following him. But other things that help you in the moment is meditate, because meditate literally helps you do deep breathing, which calms down your nervous system. box breathing. So box breathing is when you take 4 deep breaths in, hold for 4, 4 breaths out, hold for 4, and you repeat that cycle. What that does is that switches you off from the survival mechanism of your amygdala firing to the parasympathetic nervous system, which is, I can be safe, I'm okay, I've got this. Then you take the action. So we want to take action when we're in more of the creative state. Gratitude is also so incredible. I know when I first started this, someone told me about gratitude, and I was in postpartum depression. I was PTSD. Someone's like, you just need to feel grateful. And I was like, F you, I don't need to feel grateful. I have nothing to be grateful for. I'm grateful. And then I was like, you know what? I trust them. I'm going to practice it anyway. And then I practiced it. And now one of my main emotions that I feel throughout the day is grateful. And it is a beautiful emotion to feel. And the way you can start it is when you're feeling fearful and you're spiraling, you're feeling paralyzed. Just open your eyes and look around you and go, right, what do I appreciate right now? I appreciate the fact I have coffee in a mug. I appreciate that I have water. I appreciate that I'm able to speak here with everyone today. And what that does is it again switches, because our brain actually cannot feel fear and gratitude at the same time, which is the coolest thing. So the more you practice gratitude, the less fear you're actually going to feel. So let me know if you've got any questions, jump them in the chat and we'll keep on going. The other things that also help with this is storytelling. I know for myself, when I started feeling fear, that first year of business, I felt like it was the wrong thing to be doing. Then I changed the story to I'm feeling the fear, which means I'm growing. I'm feeling the fear, which means I'm going to achieve the money goals that I want. I'm feeling the fear, which means this is exactly what I'm wanting to happen. And then working out, moving your body. When you feel the fear, you're just wanting to like run, go, move. And when you're not moving that energy, so if you're not doing EFT or anything like that, your body doesn't know what to do. So it's just going to be like, ah. But if you actually do a workout when you're feeling that, you're processing and moving that through your body and you'll feel so much better. Also, a walk in nature. Spending 20 minutes in nature will regulate your nervous system again and help you get back into the creative mindset. So then we've got what's called a welcoming fear in your body practice. I'm going to take everyone through this in a moment. But what happens is when we feel fear, we then feel anxious because we're feeling fear. Anxiety isn't an emotion. Anxiety is the fear of feeling an emotion. So I know all of the women I've worked with feel anxious. And they feel anxious because they feel like they shouldn't feel the fear. It's not safe to feel the fear, so they push it away. The more we push an emotion away, the more it's going to come back up. So to counteract that and allow you to actually move forward despite the fear is because I now have a 4-year-old son, I imagine myself. So as soon as I feel the fear, I'll close my eyes and I'll take a deep breath. Then I'll feel, so for me, the fear's in my chest. So I'll feel it in my chest and then I'll imagine myself hugging Alfie, my 4-year-old. Like him coming up to me and going, Mummy, I'm scared. Like he'll be like, I've had a nightmare. And I just imagine hugging him and just being like, it's okay, I've got you. Not trying to change it, not trying to make him feel better, just being there with him. And when I start doing that, you're literally welcoming that fear. And when you welcome it, again, it takes 90 seconds to process an emotion. So instead of you pushing it, which prolongs the amount of time you can process it, you're just going, yep, I'm cool with this and I'm taking action anyway. If you have no children and you don't like that activity, think of it like a friend or a dog or a cat or a family member, and just welcome it in. Okay, so this is Peter. He's a beautiful client of mine. And he came to me and he was in his comfort zone. You can see that he was in his comfort zone because in 2021, he made 300,000 in his business and had 10K left in the bank. In 2022, he made 300K and had 10K left in the bank. In 2023, he made 300K and had 10K in the bank. So he was in his comfort zone and he had no idea how to move. He was scared to take the next step because he was feeling the fear and scared of feeling the fear. So what I did for him is we set micro steps, like micro steps, where he wanted to go. What's the action step? And then instead of me going, stop, like I said, stop running away, just feel it. You're okay to feel the fear because you want something new and it's okay. And so he did that. And so now he's made 300K in 3 months and now has 100K in savings because he felt the fear and did it anyway. The thing with this is we set up targets for our business and we overestimate how much we can achieve in a year and underestimate how much we can do in a decade. Just take small actions every day in your business and you will grow substantially. The big work is the internal work. It's the feeling the fear and showing up anyway. That's what's going to move mountains. So again, the practices help you build resilience, and this is also emotional regulation. If you can regulate your emotion, you can achieve anything in this world. Is EFT, gratitude. Something I actually did before I jumped into here today. So for me, speaking like this has always been the biggest fear of mine. So I thought to myself this morning, when I'm 80, looking back at this day in my life, how do I want to remember? How do I want to relive this moment in my life? When I'm 80, comfortable, hopefully in a rocking chair, maybe with a cat or a dog, how do I want to look back at this time? And it allowed me to objectively go forward to look at this moment and go, I'd like it to be the moment that I was able to share my knowledge and my wisdom and my understanding of what it takes to grow a business that you love and to create a life you didn't think you could do. So just that small practice allowed me to go, I'm going to do it. It's going to be fun. Because now when I'm 80, looking back on here, thank you for all being a part of my memory, I'll be able to go, I did it anyway. And another thing is welcoming it. You want to relax in your body. Fear is an acronym for first attempt in learning. You're just learning to do something new, and it's okay. The thing is, fear doesn't disappear.
Attempt.
Fear doesn't disappear. You learn how to move through it. And growth only happens in discomfort. Remember in my first year of business, I was like, I wanted to prove that you didn't have to be uncomfortable to grow. And that did nothing but made me not make a lot of money and not feel fulfilled. So you have to be uncomfortable and that's okay. But most people will retreat before they see the results. And I want you guys to be able to go, I'm feeling the fear. This is what I can do and move forward anyway. So we've got about 15 more minutes or so for this, then we've got some questions as well. So if there is any questions or any clarifications, please pop them in the chat as we're going through this. So going through this, what happens? So on your journey of this, you're going to get outside your comfort zone, then you're going to go, right, Caitlin said, I'm feeling paralyzed, I'm feeling this. She said to do EFT. Okay, I'm doing EFT, right, now what do I do? Then you take an action step and you're going to then get to what's called the learning zone. This is where you've expanded what's possible for you. So when you're actually in the learning zone, that's when you're asking yourself, what can I learn from this? And you're actually dealing with challenges and problems. A lot of my clients say they feel like they got to the other side. They had this anxiety, they had all this feeling, and now they're like, I'm at the other side and I've got new ideas. I've got, this new zest for life. I'm like, yeah, because you did something you didn't think you could do. And it just gets better and better. You've obtained new skills. You feel a bit more energy and excited. You also feel a bit new. You learn to adapt and change, and you feel more at ease because you feel safer in your body, feeling fear and all the other emotions, because you realize it's all part of being human. You get to feel it all and it's okay. You're also excited to try new things. So this is where, when I practice gratitude, as I said, gratitude is often seen as the antidote to fear. You cannot feel both of them at the same time. If you're feeling the fear, you can't feel gratitude. If you feel gratitude, you can't feel the fear. So let's use this to our advantage. In the moments that the fear is way too much and you're like, I cannot be grateful for anything, then do the practices I've showed you other than gratitude. But in the moments when you're like, I did it anyway, I sent the pitch, I did the call, I did my website, I got my first client, I did all these things, double down on your gratitude because you're doubling down on what your benchmark of emotions are. And if you practice it, it will expand. So the more you practice gratitude, the more grateful you will feel and the less fear will overcome and overrun you. And there's obviously so much science to gratitude, but it can significantly reduce any anxiety and fear by shifting focus to positive aspects of life. I'm obviously a very positive and optimistic person, but I believe in being real. And if at the moment you're like, I do not feel grateful, I feel really fearful, acknowledge that and actually go, I'm feeling the fear and I'm doing it anyway. So another example, I actually did this exercise with Lucy and it was so beautiful. So she is a designer and so she's launching her second business brand and she's going to be launching her first collection in April. And nothing was really happening in her life. So she came and saw me and she goes, I've really had like 2 years of nothing happening. And this is what happens when we're stuck in our comfort zone. We want to grow, but nothing's growing, nothing's changing because we're not changing. So what happened is she came to me and she just felt debilitated. She felt paralyzed by fear, by doubt. She was feeling like a victim. And so what I did with her is I asked if she was okay if I did an activity with her. And she's like, yeah, okay. She's not really into this type of stuff. I'm like, let's just do it anyway. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Just jump into the fear. It's okay. So I got her to close her eyes and she did the box breathing and we did that over and over. And then I asked her to put her attention in her body where her fear was and it was in her chest. And I got her just to breathe into it. So similar to when I said I hugged my son when I felt fear in my chest, she did the same. And I said, just keep breathing into that space because instead of you pushing it, instead of you going, I can't do this, I can't feel this, you're welcoming it. And what happens is when you're stuck in your life, when you're stuck and nothing's really happening, it's because emotionally you're stuck, because mentally you're stuck. So instead of just pushing away from the emotion, just let it in. When you let it in, it can move. Then your thoughts can move. Then things in your life move because you're moving. So when she did this, she started crying. She's like, oh my God, Kaylin. She's like, I'm not really crying. I'm like, that's okay. And I said, did anything pop up? She's like, yeah, just do it. I kept thinking, just do it. I'm like, perfect. So what is it you need to do? And she goes, I just need to do it. So we set up a little daily action plan for her. So every day she just did something small. And then her life started changing and growing and expanding because she didn't push away the fear anymore. She was actually processing the fear in her body. And it was so beautiful. So what then happens is after we've gone through this beautiful journey, we then achieve emotional regulation and expansion, which means you actually have self-belief, especially for the women out there who have imposter syndrome, who really struggle with confidence, who really struggle with self-belief. The more you practice this, the more self-belief and empowerment you'll have. And no one can give it to you, no one can take it away because you've given it to yourself. And then all of a sudden, you're this empowered woman going, I can do this. You also scale your impact. You trust your decisions and you operate with confidence. And the key with this is consistency in applying what you've learned. So we're going to go through the final zone now, which is the growth zone. So after feeling all of this, that's when you go, oh my God, I signed the client. Oh my God, I have 15 times my revenue. Oh my God, I got the pitch. Oh my God, I'm standing out in a saturated market. Oh my God, I actually did it. I pivoted my business and I did what I said I wanted to do. So you actually find, and so for me, purpose is actually self-purpose. Like you doing what you said you were going to do. So you find your purpose. You find your purpose in what you want to do and how you want to interact and how you want to evolve and change. You're living your dreams because it's something you always desired that you wanted, and now you get to set new dreams, new goals. You realize your aspirations, you feel a sense of empowerment, you feel at ease and grateful that you did it. And you believe and know that you can conquer anything because you're amazing. And you've expanded, the world seems a little bigger. So with this as well, After you get to the growth zone, this is why so many people say obviously exercise is important, especially as entrepreneurs, because it's great for your mind as much as your body. But I know for me, a couple of years ago, I was so stuck in my business and I knew exactly what I needed to do, but I couldn't for the life of me take the action. I was so debilitated by fear. And I was like, well, what do I do? And I was like, I just need to do something really hard every day. I have to do something really hard, really challenging. And I joined CrossFit. CrossFit is one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I'm still scared to this day. But I go in and I do it, and I challenge myself. And I humble myself when I think I've got it. I'm like, yeah, I'm the best at this. I finished the workout first. I go in the next day and I'm the last to finish. I'm huffing, I'm puffing, I'm sweating, I'm red. But I keep showing up because it doesn't matter, because I matter because I show up. Doesn't matter what other people think, doesn't matter anything of that. It just matters that I've made a promise to myself that I'm going to do hard things. And when I started showing up at the gym and doing hard things, I could start doing hard things in my business. So if you're really stuck and things seem too much in your business, do something in your personal life that's going to be a little bit challenging, that's going to be a little bit hard. And that's going to give you the mental strength to go, I can do this in my business, because it's all connected. So exercise does help with fear by reducing stress, improving mood, and distracting from negative thoughts. And it can also help build resilience against anxiety. So Mariana, oh, she's so beautiful. She loves women and loves empowering women. That's her whole goal, is to build a community of empowered women, and she's doing it. And she came to me because she was really overwhelmed with self-doubt, and she was really holding herself back. And she's like, who am I to do this? No one's going to believe in this. I've made all these mistakes before. So for her, it was actually about rewiring her thought process. So it was rewiring how she saw herself and how she defined success and failure. Because the thing is, to be successful means you need to fail, which means you're going to feel the fear of failure, but you're also going to feel the joy of success. So for her, I send her journal prompts every day and give her daily actions to help her stay accountable. So the journal prompts are, when in a time did you feel the fear? And how did you feel when you conquered it? When did you move through? And this has helped her rewire and see it differently, that she knows this is where she's going. She's on the path to doing what it is she wants to do, because her desire, her why, is to empower women. So she first needs to feel empowered, which means she wants to conquer the fear, and she's doing it every day. So she's launched her podcast, she's speaking with a publisher to publish her book, and she's building her dream community. So commit to showing up daily. Fear fades when action becomes the default. And when you do it every day, it becomes a habit. And as it becomes a habit, it becomes who you are. And before you know it, you're just the person who overcomes fear. And many years ago, you were the person who was scared of fear. Now you're like, oh, I feel the fear. This is exciting. I'm growing. So remember, you are here. Your desires are here. This is the pattern. This is the cycle. No matter what you desire, no matter what goal you want to achieve, you'll always come up against these 4 quadrants, and you get to choose how you show up in each of these quadrants. We struggle with fear because we were taught it's unsafe to feel fear. But you get to choose how you now define fear. And if you want, I invite you to define it as the moment that growth is going to happen. Because everything you want is on the other end of fear. You just need to first feel it and take the action. So remember, fear is a sign you're on the edge of something great. Move through it. Now, if you're wanting some more help with this, I do have a guide. So it's all about the fear zone and how to actually move through these. So anytime you're like, I'm feeling this, I can apply this. If you go to caitlincook.co/fear zone, you'll see it there. And then if you wanted to reach out for any support or follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube, you can do so via those links. And I would love to hear any thoughts, any aha moments, any questions you have, and I can help support you through this, because fear is real and I know it can be so debilitating, but I hope this has helped you understand that you can see it differently and it can actually be the catalyst to something incredibly great. Okay. I am scared of showing up online because I feel no one will care, for example. And when I post, if I get no engagement on my post, my brain will be like, see, I told you so. Yeah. Thank you so much for your honesty and vulnerability. So that's why I've only started going on social media, honestly, this year. So with this, there's two things that occur. There's the confidence to show up even when people aren't going to be there. And it's also being able to feel the fear. So there's kind of like a detachment with it. So what I would suggest for you is EFT will help you transform this very quickly. EFT, obviously, as we said before, helps reduce the stress, but it also rewires your thought processes of how you see yourself online. And I know for the women I work with, being seen online is really hard because there's this real, but what if I'm not liked? But what if people don't like me? But what if they reject me? Oh my God. And it's a lot. So what I'd like you to do is start actually telling yourself a new story. And it's not about all the people seeing you, it's about that one person that needs what it is you're saying today. Focus on that one person who needs to hear what you have to say today and say it for them. You're not saying it for thousands of people, you're saying it for that one person. Our brains are also wired to show us all the ways we're right, whether we want to be or not. So the thought process you've got at the moment is no one will care. So anytime that happens and when that occurs, your brain's going, see, I told you so. So what I would do is I would expand that sentence and I would say, if no one will care, I would say people are learning to care or I care. So you're changing what's actually happening in your brain when you're thinking this, which will help you to expand your thoughts around this. What does it feel like in your body when you do this? If you can let me know, and I can provide some more guidance with that. And if anyone's got any other questions that they'd like, or any moments where you're like, I liked that, I agreed with that, or this didn't help, please let me know. What if you were doing hard things but don't see the results you wanted? I'm struggling with this right now. I'm marketing, pitching, and so on, but it is taking a lot of time to get clients. So thank you for your honesty. How long have you been in business for? The thing with this is when you're wanting to do something new, the time, there's always a lag in between. 6 months, yeah. And is this the start of your business? Have you been in business for 6 months? So what happens when we're in the lag of this? Yeah. Do you know the rule of thumb? So I've helped people build businesses for like 11 years now. When you start a business, the average business takes 18 months to break even. So the thing is, when you're starting a business, you're rewiring decades and decades of thoughts and emotions and what you perceive you can receive and not. So when you're starting a business, you've gone from a 9 to 5 to an entrepreneur, which means instead of working 9 to 5 to earn money that way, you're now actually looking at ways you can earn money in multiple different ways. So your brain needs a moment to catch up. And that's why the start of business, 80% is mindset. 80% is getting through the fear, is rewiring your thought processes so you can have new ideas, so you can do new things. And there is no time frame on that because everyone's different. But what I would say for you, Carolina, is you want to tap into the trust that this will work. And the way that you can do that is back yourself. Even though this isn't happening in the time that I thought it was going to happen, I back myself, I trust myself, and I know I can do this. I'm going to keep doing this. In my second year of business, when I needed to make a substantial amount more money, and 15 times my revenue that time, before it all started happening, I was in an abyss of nothing. I was showing up every day. I was doing everything I needed to do every day. I was doing gratitude. I was doing my EFT. I was doing my rewiring of my thought processes, but nothing was happening. And I was like, I must be doing it wrong. Then I read the book by Gay Hendricks called The Big Leap. And he talks about right before you break free, right before what you want happens, there's a moment in time where you want to quit and you kind of surrender and you're like, oh, it doesn't work anyway. That is the moment where everything happens. So I would actually invite you, Carolina, to see it as this is just you planting the seeds each and every day to have an exponential growth in the long run. And the thing is, if you've been doing it for 6 months continuously and you keep doing it, you're setting yourself up for short and long-term success. Then once you've hit the first growth and the next growth and the next growth, you'll kind of be like, it doesn't matter that it took the amount of time that it did, because even when I didn't know if it was going to work, I did it anyway. I kept showing up anyway. For my growth, I've always quantum leaped because I've kept showing up every day, because I trust myself now and know that I'm going to just keep showing up and some way, somehow it's going to work. And then you've got to expand your trust of what you believe is possible for you. See you, Georgie. So rewriting the way I think about how I work. Yeah. So I actually did subliminals on this. So subliminals is part of the activities that I did on rewiring my brain, because I'd always worked 9 to 5. I'd worked in corporate all my life, and I'd always been like, here's your hourly rate. This is what you earn. And I was like, but I don't want to earn every hour. I want to earn every minute. I want to earn whatever I want when I want. So subliminals are a really fantastic opportunity for you to rewire your brain in a very lazy way. So on my YouTube, I've done, it's a millionaire mindset one. So it's all about, you won't hear me say the words because I've created, it has to be on a lower level, because then if you can hear the affirmations, you're going to analyze that and your brain's going to go, that's not true. I'm not listening to that. So I've done them in a frequency in a certain way that it goes straight to your subconscious. So as you sleep, listen to it. As you drive, listen to it. As you walk the dog, as you move around, as you clean the house, listen to it. And what this is doing is it's going to rewire your brain in the background. So it's really effortless. But I want you to know that it takes 21 days to create a new neural pathway. It takes 21 days to create a new habit, meaning not a lot's going to happen in those first 21 days, but your fear is going to be there. Your fear is going to go, you should just stop. This isn't working. Why would you do it anyway? Similar to what we said before, you've been doing it for 6 months or so, but nothing's really happening. Your fear is going to be in the back saying, but this isn't right. You shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. But keep doing it anyway. Keep showing it up. That's how you're expanding what's possible for you. And after 21 days, all of a sudden, you'll start to think new things. You'll see new opportunities. Money will start coming in easier because you've rewired what your beliefs are, and your brain will only see what you believe to be true. So that's what I would suggest for you. Do the subliminals. It really, really helped. Several years ago, I found a book called Write Yourself Happy. Oh, it really does. I'm happy to check the book out again. I love that. I've not heard of Write Yourself Happy. Thanks for providing that. So any other questions? Is there anything else? I'm happy to stay on for another 8 minutes to provide any additional assistance that anyone has, because I want everyone to succeed, and you can succeed. It just depends, everyone's at a different level. Everyone requires different things in their journey, and it's okay. So the Fear Zone workbook I've got, that's all the different practices I used when I wanted to move through my fear. But at the end of it, basically all it is, it's just allowing yourself to feel the fear. Just feel it and process it, because it's welcomed, because it's part of being human. Yeah. So if there's no other questions, I'll wait a couple more moments. If there's no more questions, I think we're going to wrap up there. And I'd like to spend a moment to say thank you all so very much for being here. You've given me a lot to work with. Oh, you're welcome, Sarah. I heard exactly what I needed to say. I'm on the gap right now. I actually did a YouTube video on the gap. It's very real. And the more you can stay in the gap and keep believing, the quicker the quicker you can reduce the gap for next time. Should I keep going? Is this even going to work? Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad this was so helpful to everybody. I'm wishing you all the very best success on your journey. Just keep going. You decide if you stop or if you keep going. And you can keep going. This is your life. This is your business. I'm sending you all love. Thank you for being a part of, me leaning into my fear today, because this was always a big fear of mine, and I'm so grateful to be able to be with all of you today and helping you. If there's anything I can do, please feel free to reach out on my socials. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you for your courage to go, I'm feeling fear, how do I move through it? And you can do this. Have the most incredible, what day is it? Thursday. And I look forward to speaking with you all, hopefully in the future. Bye.